This video is a collaboration of photos of some of the babies that we've lost, clear up until we had our rainbow baby, which is Hunter. This is a huge trigger warning for anyone that has lost a child because I will be going into details of when I went psycho after the first one and what I did. And just be prepared, okay? Prepare yourself if you've lost a child, if you want to continue watching this. If not, stop now. I beg you to stop now, because you will start bawling at some point in time. Jeff and I got together in November of 2012, even though I've known him since I was 10 and he was 21. We got married in June of 2013, and somewhere along the line decided that we wanted to try to have a baby. My tubes were tight, so we drove all the way to Louisville, Kentucky in March of 2014 to visit Dr. Levin, and we had my tubes untied. We found out we were pregnant in May of 2014. We were excited. I found out it was my birthday and Mother's Day always run around the same day, and we found out is either a day or two before Mother's Day or something like that. And so, I thought it was meant to be. I was over the moon, over the moon. This is where it begins. This is our first baby. We found out we were pregnant with this baby. It was somewhere around Mother's Day, and we were extremely excited. Everything seemed to be going good. When we were 10 weeks, July 1st, we had a doctor's appointment, and we were supposed to be able to hear the heartbeat for the first time. We went in. The nurse came in to do the ultrasound, and she was sitting there doing the ultrasound, and she stopped and said, let me go get the doctor. And the doctor comes in, and he starts doing the ultrasound, and his exact words were, "I'm sorry, but your baby has no heartbeat." And so they handed me everything I needed to clean myself up. And Jeff and I sat there shocked and started bawling and crying. The baby died somewhere around 8 weeks because it was only measuring 8 weeks. And so the doctor scheduled me for an immediate D&C because my body was not aborting the baby like it should have been. And so I went psycho several weeks after that. It was like a week after the D&C. Jeff went back to work, and that night I grabbed a wine bottle and a bottle of pills, and it was a painkiller, a prescribed painkiller. And I sat there and I drank the wine and started swallowing pills. Jeff texted me at some point in time asking me how I was doing. I told him, I'm sorry I lost the baby. It was my fault. And no matter what happens, don't ever forget that I love you. Well, he rushed home. He knew then with that text message that something was up, and he rushed home. And I remember him grabbing me up off the couch and saying, "We're taking you to the hospital right now." And I remember fighting him, and he stuck his fingers down my throat and made me throw up. And I threw up all over the floors. He calmed me down, and I started sobering up and coming out of it, and we sat and talked for a little while. And so I wasn't doing very good at that point in time because I really, really wanted the baby so much. You have no idea. But that was the first baby we lost. Part of my psychoness, I ended up cutting my hair. So I went from really long to very, very short. To try to help with the grieving process, I created what I call a baby garden. It's a memorial for all the babies that we have lost. This is the second baby. Again, we were excited but scared. After the first ultrasound, I started bleeding at some point in time, and so I went to the hospital and they did a second ultrasound. The baby's heartbeat was only 103, and I knew I was losing it. They kept reassuring me that I wasn't, but I knew I was. And that night at about 3 o'clock in the morning, I had to get up and go to the bathroom. And when I wiped the sack with the baby in it, came out on the toilet paper, and I touched it. That was a little hard mass in the center of it, and I knew that that was my baby. And so I sat there on the bathroom floor for a little while, just holding that piece of toilet paper, telling the baby that it was loved and that I was sorry that it died and that I would never forget it. And I didn't know what to do with it after that. I had no idea. I didn't wake Jeff up. I just flushed it down the toilet. I feel horrible about that, but I didn't know what else to do. And so that's how we lost the second baby in September of 2014. The third pregnancy we had was called a chemical pregnancy, meaning that for 3 days I had positive pregnancy tests, and then the fourth day, the pregnancy tests were negative because the egg didn't implant all the way. And so that was baby number 3. The fourth baby I was only like 2, 3 weeks along, and I miscarried. I wasn't very far along, so it was just like starting my monthly. There was, no little clots or anything to resemble a baby. That was the fourth. The fifth pregnancy was what they call a blighted ovum. The sac continued to grow, but no baby formed in the sac. And that was January of 2016. And I had to have a DNC with that one because my body wasn't aborting the empty sac. That should be all 5 babies. First one, I went psycho. Second one, I lost in the bathroom. Third one was a chemical. Fourth one was just a very simplified miscarriage. And then the fifth one was the blighted ovum. That should cover all the miscarriages. Now, we went to fertility clinic in Columbia, and Jeff and I had decided that this was going to be our final and our last try. Mentally, neither one of us could take very much more. And so we went to Dr. Wilshire in Columbia, Missouri, and talked to him. Several different appointments, several tests were ran. Back in 2016, I think the total was about $600. And he done an IUI, which is intrauterine insemination. It's where they took Jeff's stuff and cleaned it up and put it in a straw after they had me on Clomid for 4 or 5 days and predicted my ovulation. They put the straw up in me and released semen, and I had to lay there on the table for like 30 minutes or something like that without moving, and then they came in and said we were good to go, and that in 2 weeks to start taking pregnancy tests and let them know what happened. And so I started taking pregnancy tests and marking them, so many days past IUI, so many days past IUI. And so that's what the next picture is of those pregnancy tests that I took. As you can see by the tests, I wasn't able to wait the full 2 weeks, and so the days on them are like 11 days past IUI, 12 days past IUI, 13 days past IUI, and it's got the dates on them. And actual Clear Blue Easy I did take on the 14th day, and it came up positive, and so we were pregnant with Hunter. These are some of Hunter's first ultrasound pics. Since it was a high-risk pregnancy, they were giving me a lot of ultrasounds.
We got it.
It is.
We were so scared of losing him that we listened to his heartbeat literally almost every day just to make sure it was still there because we were so scared that we were going to lose him too. And so there's I've got a lot of videos of us listening to his little heartbeat. I was about 5 months along in this picture.
Still reading?
And it flashed up again at 1:42. Just a beating away though.
Mm-hmm. Thumpity, thumpity, thump.
Daddy's boy.
This was the ultrasound where they measured a lot of his bones, made sure that he was alright. We were able to find out that he was a boy, and so we were pretty excited at this point that everything had gone on and was doing okay. This is a maternity photo that professionally taken of me.
143.
These are pictures I took myself of my big old belly and my shirt that says it's a boy after we found out that he was a boy. This is his 3D image so you can see his little face. He looks exactly now like he did then. It's scary how they do that.
Gave like a 170 there at first, and then it dropped back to 130, 140, 141, 145, 164. Oh, strong heartbeat.
Really strong. That's good. Your baby.
Yep.
Jeff used to like to fall asleep against my belly, and I guess Hunter didn't like Daddy in his space, and so Hunter would sit there and kick at his head while Jeff was asleep, and it was so adorable. The morning of May 24th, 2017, I woke up and sat up in bed, and my water broke when I sat up. I called a friend of mine's mom that's a nurse, explained to her what was going on. She said that was indeed my water breaking, and so I don't know why I didn't call my husband at work, but I then called my sister or my mom, one of the two. They may have both been on the same line. I don't know. And they told me something about not to worry, that they would call Jeff. Well, Trenton had finally woke up, and so Trenton called Jeff, and then Jeff called me and said, "Hey, what's going on?" And I said, my water broke. So he rushed home, and we rushed to the hospital, and Hunter was born at 5 something. I can't remember right now. That was a pretty long day, but Jeff and I got our miracle baby, our rainbow baby, and I hope someday Hunter knows how much he was wanted, how hard he tried to get him, and what we went through to get him. Every day we tell him how amazing he is, how perfect he is, how much we love him, and I hope and pray that he will always know that.
That lip was not going well. Like I had to push it off. I was not done. But I could feel there was a big like scar.
Hang in there, big boy.
At 42 years old, I had my fifth child, a little boy. It was the hardest pregnancy I had yet to go through. I had gestational diabetes. I was in and out of the hospital because of my blood pressure. They went into early labor and they had to give me steroid shots to develop his lungs. So, yeah, the labor seemed to last forever. I mean, we got there, it was 9, 10 o'clock that morning, and he wasn't born until after 5:30-ish that evening, and I was exhausted, I was tired, I was hurting, but I was so thankful to finally meet him and for all the pain and suffering to be over and to finally be able to hold my little miracle baby, something that I had wanted so bad and had tried for so many times. And I couldn't have asked for a better gift from God. Even to this day, even with the problems that Hunter has, he's still a miracle, and I wouldn't give him up and I wouldn't trade him for anything. Most of you know him and have seen him. Most of you love him almost as much as I do. He enjoys all the gifts and everything that you guys send him, and he's wonderful. I sit here and I'm looking at these pictures and I just think back to that day and think back to how happy I was and how handsome he was and the look on Jeff's face looking into his son's face and hearing him cry, feeling him latch on within 5 minutes of being born, and it just all seems like yesterday at some points and then like forever ago at others. I hope you all have, don't want to say enjoyed my story because our story started out pretty rough. The ending is truly a miracle from God. There's no other words for it. I hope you've enjoyed our story because we sure have enjoyed him.
And when you're ready for some soup, I got that.
Yeah, I know. You are just too cute. Ooh! Ooh! Hello. I love you, mommy. Goo. You do. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yes. Hi. Hello. Hunter. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh.
Is that your birdie? Hi, yeah. Mommy sees you. I know. I love you. Yeah. Oh, there's your birdie. Your birdie. Yeah. Oh my god.
Angel's Arms. With tears of sorrow, we cry each day. In angel's arms, you were carried away. Our memories, love, and laughter shall not fade, for inside our hearts, you will always stay. With tears of sorrow, we cry each day in angel's arms. In loving memory of our 5 angel babies, forever and always. These lilies are called tiny ghosts, and when I had to quit Salvation Army because of a high-risk pregnancy, they gave me these as a going away present. And I was pregnant at the time and ended up losing it. And so I planted them here because it seemed fitting.